Welcome back to this Let's Play of the original official campaign for Neverwinter Nights 2. We're getting close to the end of the game, it's pretty obvious. We've reassembled the Silver Sword of Gith. Sort of. It's still in pieces, but we can put it together whenever we feel like it. And we have the Tome of Ilkazar, so our crazy sage is going to build a way to teleport us into the King of Shadows domain so we can finally beat him. The King of Shadows army is on the march, though, and Lord Nasher already got pretty well beaten. So we're probably going to have to defend the keep here while we wait for Aldanon to figure it out. This spider we recruited earlier, and mostly the point of recruiting the spider is because you get XP for doing it, but I believe it's when you hit 100% keep time completion, it gives you this cloak. It's not a bad cloak. I mean, freedom of movement is a very nice thing to have as an actual innate attribute on an item instead of having to cast it, but I don't know. I think I'm just tired of this insect. The Staff of the Magi is they actually were very thorough about how they coded it. You can actually recharge it by casting spells on it. And you can charge it up to 50 charges. It starts with 30. And if you want to use charges off of it, you know, there's a variety of spells. Most of these spells are, well, they're kind of low level, frankly. So you're not going to get a whole lot of mileage out of them. Invisibility is a nice thing to be able to cast just at whim. Improved mage armor, again, nice thing to be able to cast at whim. Assay resistance is actually an important one because you never really know exactly when you're going to need that. Lesser mind blank, lesser spell, yeah, good stuff. But if you try to overcharge the Staff of the Magi, bad things happen. And amusingly, you can use that to kill NPCs that you weren't actually supposed to kill, like that spider. It also does 300 damage, save for half. But you lose the Staff of the Magi in the process. It also has that Retributive Strike ability, and you can actually just kill NPCs with Retributive Strike, assuming you don't like the Staff of the Magi. It's not a horrible item, but I really don't care for it. I mean, it just doesn't cast enough spells I care about. I'll carry it around, but not a big deal. Let's see if Aldanon has something more to say. Aldanon doesn't have anything useful to say, so we're just gonna have to talk to Sir Naval and get this show on the road. Now, you get 2,000 XP for fortifying Crossroad Keep. I don't know minimally what you have to do to actually get that full 2,000 XP reward. Probably just build up the walls. You also get 2,000 XP for completing the 2 Alliance quests.
My lord, you should rest. Gather your strength.
I must still remain strong. Any sign of weakness now to our own troops, and the King of Shadows will have gained another edge on us. He marches on Crossroad Keep, and it will not be long before his forces are at our gates. But you, Knight Captain, and your efforts here, you have served Neverwinter beyond the call of duty, risking your life not once, but several times without hesitation. If there is anything that I think will be the light against this shadow that comes against us, it is you and the fortress I have granted you. But on to the matters at hand.
What of Waterdeep? Of the Lord's Alliance? Have they answered our call?
Forces from Waterdeep and our other allies are on their way, but I do not know if they will arrive in time.
Well, we have, 2,500 Great Cloaks. We should have something to hold off until they get here.
I wish I shared your confidence, Knight Captain. But the power this King of Shadows seems to possess is something I do not think these walls can easily stop.
You must hold this keep against these shadows. You have raised this place with your own hands. Now you must keep it together and lead your men in battle.
We should waste no time. Please meet us in the war room, Captain.
I guarantee there will be no fighting. I don't know why Eleni is here. I think there might be confusion with by the developers with a later scene where Eleni is more important. Though, I guess they had to put her somewhere, and there was no place for her in the war room? I mean, we've never seen behavior like that in the war room before, and there's certainly not any materials for a pie fight. Anyway, they are saying that we can burn some bridges to slow down the advance of the army. And apparently water has some effect on them. So we'll just form a group and set out. And I'm going to bring archers with me, but you can only bring 2 companions. I'm going to bring Bishop, mostly for influence with him, and I'm going to bring along Eleni just because we can. Anyway, Dagon has apparently been helping out. You know, for once, he seems to have just delegated previously. There's a fight going on down below. I'm going to see if I can save the troops down there to do that.
We've arrived at the outskirts. With all the smoke in the air, the enemy...
So, you've arrived. I've spent some time observing... Farewell, then. Thank me, guard yours.
And instead of actually casting a whole lot of buffs and, you know, getting real involved, I'm just going to use this crossbow I have, which gives haste to get down here quickly. And I forgot, there are actually some non-undead enemies down here. Not really that many, but there are a couple of shadow priests mixed in. So they, I guess I could still use a couple of those level 9s, though I don't have the level 9s yet, so I guess that's not necessarily good enough. We'll get them pretty soon. That 4,000 XP certainly helped, but we're not to level 19 yet. Alright.
Come on, follow me. Keep up. Get on!
Oh, I guess there's still a couple left. And you can assign these guys to be under the command of one of your units. I'll give them to Bishop. And then I have all these troops. And I'd actually kind of like to try and keep them surviving this encounter. So I am going to, off-screen, buff them all up and be right back. Now, those guys will all get summoned up into the midst of a fight later, so I have them all very well buffed, but I am not actually using them for now. I am just going to spam Sunburst. Oh, I guess I got silenced. The Shadow Priests like cast silence on you, so I guess if you actually have the silent spell feat, this is a place to use it? I don't know, they really didn't make that spell worthwhile, that feat worthwhile. Still spell is a prerequisite for automatic still spell, obviously, but it's not all that useful in and of itself unless you wanted to play an armored caster that really, you know, didn't cast spells ahead of time but cast spells in combat as still. I suppose that's a viable tactic, but I've never used it and I've never seen anyone use it. At least for the main campaign, there's this armor that's available that doesn't have a casting penalty, so you're not forced, if you want to wear any armor at all, to use the still spell feat to get it done. And they drop some stuff, but I'm essentially past the point of caring about the stuff that drops. I suppose I can pick it up, but it's random garbage. We got a nice little group up here. Let's say hi with actually, let's open up with a empowered fire burst. Or fire brand. Sorry, fire burst is a different spell. This, another spell that I actually could nominally use because, well, especially for situations like this one, quote-unquote soloing. These shadow priests here are not actually undead. They are not immune to things like, well, power word kill and all that. Though they're weak enough that you'd be really stretched to have a reason to use it on them. Another group on the bridge here. Now, you would, kind of guess that this is the middle of a battlefield and you shouldn't be able to rest here, but there's no problem whatsoever with just resting all the time. They really did not include that as a difficulty factor in the game. Actually, one of the LPs I've considered doing is an LP of the original campaign for Neverwinter Nights, the original, without resting. I don't know how well it would work, honestly. There's no reason it couldn't be possible, considering you can get infinite healing from the priest if necessary, and, there are med kits and all those sorts of things, and there's a regeneration item, one of the companion items that you can get fairly early in the game. And really, regeneration is the only thing you need to avoid resting at all. You would have to play a class that could actually use some spell scrolls so that you had some, something other than just hitting enemies as an option, but sometimes just hitting enemies is all you need to do. And, I don't know. It'd be an interesting challenge. And I know I've played that campaign a few times now. So I would have to do it with some sort of challenge, or it would just be, well, kind of tedious. I hate how these guys are... I'm close to killing them, but not quite. So I actually just walk up here and one-shot them with my sword. Oh, I guess one of those guys actually took 2 hits. Alright, here comes the moment of truth. Now, I have a couple scrolls here, if you might have noticed, which I'm going to use, essentially, instead of actually casting spells when I get into situations which might theoretically be even slightly dangerous. I will just use scrolls, and that way I'll have all of my own spells available on reserve. Just going to have everybody do some summoning here. Unfortunately, Bishop can't summon anything other than his animal companion, which is, of course, already out. Alright.
Master, the Shard-Bearer.
Ah, the captain of Crossroad Keep. It has been some time. They are not a force when divided. Fear not. You will see my king's strength soon.
You are a fool to have come here.
You may stand atop the battlements now, but know that I have come to reclaim my former home. I need not set foot there. Your forces will be washed aside by the coming shadow. Things have changed, Shard-Bearer. My king will soon tear through the confines of his prison. His power crosses such boundaries, and may be granted to vessels of his choosing, like me.
This is Black Garius, by the way, in his new version. And he casts buffs on his
You have
skeletons.
more troubles than just this bridge to contend with, Captain. Enjoy yourselves here while you can. I look forward to our next meeting, should you survive.
And now, Captain, you will die.
No time for questions, child. The enemy awaits.
Alright. And just to make sure we survive this first part of the battle, I am going to cast Soothing Light, which will essentially give massive regeneration to all of my people. And I will also toss off Aurora Chain, since we have no shortage of other people making attacks. And then go after Mr. Shadowburst. Alright, well, looks like we are taking scratches on some of the elementals, but all the soldiers are still well protected. I may have over-prepared a little bit. I cast Improved Mage Armor and Stone Skin on all of them from my staff of the Magi. I cast Mass Bulls, Mass Bears, and a bunch of other mass buff spells just to get things done. But here, look. Yeah, throw away a couple more of these scrolls.
Get on him! Attack! Attack!
Captain, the bridges have been cleared.
You did well. Now let us destroy them while we can. Your gratitude is welcome, but again, we have little time. I had to come here, and I made the right choice. Father's instinct still has some value, it seems.
Okay, well, that's nice.
Hope they're splitting the kegs now. They'll be ready to celebrate after our victory.
Unfortunately, we're kind of out of time, so we'll have to pick up again here. This episode has already run long.